Hello, I'm George Rook from Shropshire. I have been living with mixed dementia for several years and I'm very involved in the DEEP network. We're honoured to be invited to deliver a plenary session again this year, and we thought we'd like to show you both the challenges and the new opportunities that the situation has brought to us. In this film, we've tried to include different voices and stories. Think of them as postcards from these strange times. First up is Wendy Mitchell.
At the beginning of this lockdown, I was in panic mode, depressed, just as I was when diagnosed. I feared the end of the lockdown. Would I lose the skills I held on to so tightly to be able to travel all around the country by myself? I had to solve these problems, as no one else was going to solve them for me. I began to realise it wasn't the end, that adapting was the key to survival. Just as now, I've realised not to think of the end, and instead embrace today.
Many DEEP groups have been working on telling the story of DEEP, each in their own way. 22 people from across the DEEP network found ingenious ways to edit and finalise their DEEP Moments films in partnership with Bigger House Productions.
First of all, we've got the lockdown that took place after the filming.
When was the last time you guys all met properly?
February.
What was it like making your films?
Didn't know what to expect, to be honest.
I absolutely enjoyed the making of the films, because we had the chance to be involved with operating the sound, and so if you ever need a soundman, I'm here.
The way people created the scripts, that was a really lovely process.
To make the film, it was a good experience, really.
But I didn't really envisage how it was going to turn out.
I think that the main thing for me is that people get a chance to see us, as people the same as them, really.
Because those days of sticking it in the back room have gone.
My wife was sort of amazed and she said to me, you never could knock a nail in straight anyway, she said, before you were diagnosed.
It actually shows what dementia is, the ups and downs.
I like the bit going through the tunnel. So some days you have this fog or darkness that closes in on you. There's always light at the end of the tunnel, and to me that's what that kind of sort of said, that we came back out into the light again.
It puts the message out there that dementia can happen to anybody at all.
This is important for you and everybody else. What are you going to do when you're diagnosed? Who are you going to talk to?
During the lockdown, DEEP has increased both the number and the size of our monthly newsletters. These are sent to group facilitators, who then make sure that they reach all members. The newsletters are also recorded by people with dementia. Here are some snippets that give a flavour of how hard DEEP groups are working to stay connected. Here Chris reads from an article sent in by Julie from the Yoda group.
We have for a few years now become used to meeting virtually in some groups. One effect of the COVID-19 is that the general public are having to go through a giant life audit. Part of this is that we readjust and we are reacquainting with each other in a new way. One way of doing this is face-to-face in virtual groups. Now this is the way that people with dementia can show the rest of the world how to cope. Society has for some time been socially distanced. We first move away from family to find work and begin to rely more and more on the social media for friendship. We are now seeing people reach out to others in the community, offering support for the elderly and disabled who perhaps they would never have mixed with previously. So, look past these scary headlines and recognise difficult times do bring out the best in most people. Together, we will get through this.
Update from up north. A fly on the wall at a Minds and Voices Zoom meeting. York Minds and Voices have been continuing our weekly Zoom meetings, working well for the tech folk and a joy for those still getting used to the wonder of Zoom. News from the lockdown. Eric and Elaine are getting used to the technology, though the voice is more like a Dalek when the internet signal is not so good. Paul too has managed to connect, and his wife sat him in front of the screen on the hot seat. He was hoping the chair hadn't been plugged into the electrics. Barbara has noticed how much more friendly people are when they walk past her house, always chatting and greeting from a safe distance. Wendy, oh that's me, shared the wonder of the Tuesday night fish and chip van, where villagers form an orderly, spaced out queue and the songs and banter ensue. Though we shouldn't tell everyone or else it will become too busy. Gardening news. As well as telling us of his leaky hose, missus, Eddie shared some info about the local nursery he attends and how they're selling off their potted plants cheap. For those who are unable to use Zoom, Damien and Anna are keeping in regular contact through a couple of cans and a length of string.
Meanwhile, Monica, who lives alone and has no internet access, bubbles with a friend. And this enables her not only to join in with the meetings, but also to entertain fellow members by playing the piano. What a joy.
Yay!
Yay, marvellous.
Lovely, Monica.
Raymond from Let's Be Heard in Oldham connects through WhatsApp. We've all joined WhatsApp. We've all been messaging each other, and when I was in hospital, because of this thing, we couldn't have visitors, and they kept cheering me up by sending messages every day, and it's been absolutely fantastic.
And this week we had a group meeting, but we did it from home, and Alexandra and Sophie helped me to set up on something called Zoom, so that we could all talk and see each other, and it was a real good, and we're doing it again in 2 weeks.
In the face of adversity, the me, myself and I team are still smiling with a clear message to you all. We still want to speak. Let's not let this virus break our spirit, our human need to interact and to find joy in difficult times. We can do this if we help each other, support each other and keep talking.
Dementia Northern Ireland have been Zooming too. They have been enjoying weekly gentle yoga sessions, a great way to stretch, keep fit and keep in touch at the same time.
One of the lovely things that has been happening is that people with dementia have been supporting each other across the whole DEEP network. So here Dory explains how friends have been sending her homemade gifts to cheer her up.
Well, I've been feeling down quite a few days. So another lady, she sent me a bag of hugs. So that was lovely. George Rook, he whittled me this whistle. And it just shows you what people can do. People with dementia still have abilities, can still do their crafts and think of other people as well. This is a little crocheted rainbow purse with a little note in, and that's from Agnes in Scotland, Agnes Houston. And I'll keep all these. I'll keep all these forever.
Now, we would like to give a special mention to a truly kind lady who recently bought a Samsung Galaxy tablet for somebody who was unable to connect to her group. What is even more wonderful is that they are from 2 different groups and they've never met. The lady who made the extremely generous donation said, "I couldn't imagine what it would be like. I did not like the thought of her being alone. I just really wanted to help."
The next clip is me. Here I am explaining our new Craftivism project.
You create whatever you want to create, artistic something, or it doesn't have to be artistic, it could be functional, but you create it and you leave it, or give it away, or leave it somewhere in the public. And it's a way of reminding people of the thing you want to be activist about, but also of proving, in our case, dementia doesn't mean you can't do things. So I'm thinking of making loads of whistles, just fairly simple whistles, and attaching a label to them. And I just leave them around my local town. I might even make a sort of box of them and take them into a local primary school class and give them out. I think it's a great way of getting the word out.
One of the wonderful things about this strange time has been to witness the burgeoning of creativity. So many people are doing so much stuff. Listen to Jerry King from Fife in Scotland talk about his new passion for writing poetry.
I just sat down one day, went through some things that were going in my head, because a lot of the stuff actually comes at night time when I'm lying in bed, because it's difficult to sleep. So I think about things and things go in my head, and I say, "Oh, I should write that down." But unfortunately, most days I've forgotten by the time I get up in the morning. The one about my bed is something that a lot of us will probably struggle with every day, even just the fact of getting out of bed. Just true feelings, really, about what it's like living with dementia. How it can be a constant battle sometimes, but you've just got to get up and get on with it, and never think about having any regrets. Why me? Why me? Because it could be anybody at the end of the day, and why not me? You know, dementia affects anybody at any time.
People with dementia are also sharing their skills with each other. Frances Isaacs is a very, very talented painter. During lockdown, she has been running a course on Zoom so that others can learn and enjoy painting too.
Brown. I'm giving myself a lovely stalk like that. I'm going to add my green to it, and that's my rose leaves colour. I paint what I feel, and that is all the difference. So on a day when I'm feeling rotten, stuff comes out dark and miserable. But a day when I'm feeling fairly happy, I paint lovely light pictures. It's nothing to do with being good or bad. It's to do with being able to satisfy yourself. And if you like what you've done because of the colour or the shape or the whatever, then it's a success.
During these COVID times, many services have shut down or are very limited indeed. So those of us who are living with dementia found that we have to rely very much on our own resources. We're building a new fully accessible website that will allow us to share hundreds, if not thousands, of tips and workarounds with each other. We hope these postcards have shown you that although the COVID challenge has been enormous, We have risen to that challenge and have found new ways to keep motivated and to make a contribution.
Let's leave the last words to Wendy and to Mac.
Many people with dementia have been well equipped because we've already gone through this pandemic of chaos. The difference is, you will come out of it and normality will resume, and we'll continue to live in the new world when it comes. But ours won't go away. We've always been living and continually adapting to a new norm, just the same as before. If today is a bad day, then tomorrow may be better. Coping one day at a time.
I, in one respect, say thank you, dementia. I have gained all these friends.